And yes, it's horrible, it's scary. But on the other side of that thing is where you're supposed to be. It's like the universe is throwing this wrench in the way because you're not meant to be on this path. And it has to direct you because it's giving you signs and you're not listening to the signs. So it's going to make things so uncomfortable to motivate you to get on the right path.
Okay, guys, so today I have a very special guest. I'm super excited. This is someone that I have followed for a long time. I have their app, I've done several of their courses. So I want to introduce everyone to Stephanie Keith.
Hey, Blair, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, so she is a manifestation expert. Her tagline is manifest a life you don't need a vacation from. And I love that. I think that's perfect. So, Stephanie, do you want to tell us a little bit about how you got into manifestation, how you realized what it was, kind
Yeah.
of your whole process?
Yeah. So I learned about it back in 2009. So it was right after I had my first daughter. And I was super stressed because I had to go back to the corporate world and, leave my newborn baby. We were kind of living paycheck to paycheck. And we were in a very old house that, holding my baby, I was looking around and thinking, oh my gosh, this place could have black mold in the walls for all we know. And I knew that I wanted to manifest something better for her. Like I wanted to create a better life. But at that point in time, that was all. I had never heard about the law of attraction or anything. And my mom actually sent me the book, The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, which is, I know how so many people in the world found out about the law of attraction. And I read that book front to back right away and just I kept reading it over and over again. And it was kind of like I felt like every atom of my being was jumping up and down, like remembering something, like I knew that this was real. I just absolutely 100% in my gut, I knew this was real. So I was telling everyone about it, and everyone thought I was crazy because at this point it wasn't mainstream. Nobody had heard of it before. And my husband was kind of like, I don't get it. I don't know what you're talking about. And I told him, I am going to manifest our dream house and we're going to get out of this place and just watch. And I encouraged him to play along. I was like, just humor me. You don't have to believe it, but just pretend that you do when you're around me. And let's get a realtor and just have fun with it and go look at houses. And so that's what we did. And within 3 months, we manifested our dream home. And when I say our dream home, it was like, if you would have told me this will be your house in 3 months, I would have laughed and said, there's no way. That's just not feasible. But, through a series of what I can only say are miracles, it happened. And then I got a promotion and doubled my salary and was able to move my mom down and just my entire life, like every area of my life where I was struggling completely changed. So at that point, I knew, this is real. It works. I want to tell the whole world about it. And I noticed that, I was telling friends and family and different people, and they were not having the same experience that I had. And they were saying, this doesn't work. Tried it. It doesn't work. This is fake. And so that kind of set me on this journey over the last, 10 plus years on figuring out why. Why did it work so well and so easily for me, but so many other people try and try and try and nothing ever manifests? And so that just led me to, learning about the subconscious mind and, everything that goes into the science behind manifesting. And eventually it turned into a business again through a series of miracles. And now that's my goal is to just try to reach as many people as possible and work with them to overcome the barriers that are keeping them from manifesting a life that they don't need a vacation from.
Right. I feel like manifesting all of that in 3 months is so quick, so amazing. What do you think that most people, when they try to manifest and it fails or takes a long time for them, what are they missing?
Well, I think that there's a couple things going on. So when we're trying to manifest, most of the time, people are trying to figure out how it's going to manifest. So, we're very limited. Like in the grand scheme of things, we only see a small sliver of what's in our, reality. And so we're limited based on our perception, our personal experiences. And so when we're so focused on how it's going to manifest, we're kind of collapsing the quantum field into it can only happen that way. And what way are we conditioned as a society? We're conditioned that hard work is what leads to success. And so, we kind of are subconsciously forcing ourselves into doing things the hard way, the long way, through blood, sweat, and tears way. So that's, the first part of it. And then the second is just not believing in it. So people will go about it and think, okay, well, I thought about what I wanted to manifest and it didn't happen. And it's a week later or a month later. And, almost setting it up to fail rather than setting it up with an open mind. So I always tell people look at it as a scientist would. Like you're the scientist, this is your experiment. A scientist would go in and remove all bias and just say, I'm going to apply these techniques and keep an open mind and then see what happens and then decide whether or not, it works and everything else. But going into it, I'm just going to keep an open mind and just try it. And I think a lot of people aren't really aware of that side of it and just go in and kind of have that doubt and are almost expecting it to fail. Therefore, they're collapsing the quantum realm into it's going to fail. And so that's really where I started out with Law of Attraction Tribe was trying to help people on the subconscious level because, we try to do things consciously, which is great, like reciting affirmations and, trying to shift our mindset. But until we start addressing things at the subconscious level, nothing's going to change because the subconscious is in the driver's seat. It's running the show 95% of the time. 95% of the time, you're on autopilot and your subconscious is directing your life. So if you're not getting to the subconscious and speaking that language, it's going to be a long road. That's really the shortcut is to go directly to the subconscious and reprogram it.
Right. So, as far as reprogramming your subconscious, I know on your app you have tons of subliminals. I love them. They're so easy to put on when you're about to fall asleep, anything like that, doing yard work, whatever. What is the benefit of subliminals? How do they work as far as reprogramming your subconscious?
Yeah, so let me explain what a subliminal is because I still get people that are like, what is a subliminal? I've never, I don't know what you're talking about. So a subliminal is just simply below the threshold of consciousness. And so it could be an audio that you don't consciously hear, but your subconscious does, or a visual where it flashes on the screen so fast you're not picking up on it consciously but your subconscious is. And so I like to explain it in terms of like a dog whistle. The human ear, we can't hear a dog whistle but we know it's very real. It affects dogs. It's the same thing with subliminal messages. Just because we can't consciously perceive it doesn't mean that it's not real and the subconscious isn't perceiving it. And so to give a little background on the subconscious, in any given second, it is taking in 11 billion bits of data, and our conscious mind is taking in around 50. So 50
Wow.
versus 11 billion. So the subconscious is picking up on all of these things that our human senses can't pick up on or just aren't aware of because we have our blinders on, right? And so if you can feed your subconscious things through subliminals. So the way that I do it is through an audio where you're just hearing very calming, relaxing music. I put in frequencies and waves and binaural beats and everything to really calm your nervous system. Your subconscious is hearing around 900 affirmations per hour. So it's essentially you can listen for an hour and it's like getting a year's worth of affirmations directly into your subconscious. And the reason why you want to bypass the conscious mind is because the conscious mind has what I call like the BS meter, right? So if you say, I'm a multimillionaire, it's going to be like, no, you're not. What are you talking about? And it's going to kind of cancel it out. But the subconscious doesn't do that. It takes commands. And so if you could bypass the conscious mind, go directly to the subconscious, that's what's going to rewire those beliefs that you have been running your whole life on. And we're all conditioned to. Just like I said earlier, we're all conditioned to believe that hard work equals success, that, you know, you have to trade your time for dollars, that money is not easy to make, and it's just things we commonly hear in our society. We're very programmed to believe them, and they become these core beliefs that kind of run the show. And so after age 7, the only way to kind of get in there and reprogram that is through repetition. And so I figured out, and the reason I figured out subliminals will do this and will actually change your behavior and your beliefs is because I saw it in the corporate world. Companies use subliminals every day, every single day, all throughout your day. You're being exposed to subliminals
That's
everywhere you
scary.
go.
That is scary.
It's scary. It's scary. And I
Yeah.
remember thinking, this is not okay. Like, this is super shady and
Yeah.
questioning it. And so when I got into the law of attraction down the road, I started thinking about that and thinking, okay, if companies are spending millions of dollars making these ads that have subliminal messages because they know it's going to change your behavior, so you go and buy more of their product, well, then couldn't we use subliminals to change our behavior to make our life better? And yes, absolutely, we can. And we have the technology that makes it so easy to where I can put 900 subliminal messages in a 1 hour audio. And, it's kind of like the shortcut to years and years and years and years of all of this work, right? So it's just interesting with technology how it's bringing manifestation to the forefront. And then you
Right.
have science coming along, and things that we haven't been talking about for over a century are now coming to the forefront because of technology. And it's all merging. It's like spirituality, technology, and science are all merging at this time, which is really exciting because I think in our lifetime, manifesting, the law of attraction, whatever they're going to call it, it's going to be a given. It's going to be proven. It already is being proven. And I think it's going to really change, life for the next generation.
That's so amazing to think about. And actually, I've heard that from multiple people that they feel like this big collective change is coming and it's occurring. And that some of the things that we're seeing now were last seen during the Revolutionary War, planetary alignments, astrological things, and a lot of people are feeling that there's this huge collective awakening to a
Yes.
spiritual side.
Hmm.
So, I'm
Oh, it's
interested
absolutely
to see.
happening.
Yeah. What what have you seen personally that you feel like is contributing to that or evidence of that?
I just think on the scale, like, for example, social media, you can see it, right? It comes in waves. And for me, it started a little bit earlier. I feel like there's groups of people that might have this awakening a little bit earlier so we can teach the next group that teaches the next group and so on. And I think 2020 was huge in waking up a lot of people to just this idea that maybe reality isn't exactly what we think it is. People started questioning a lot of different things at that time. And that's just progressed, as time goes on. And now we're in this age of Aquarius. The last time it happened was, like you said, the Revolutionary War. And we can see it happening now with, a lot of different world events. And that's actually why I started this mastermind that's really about expanding your consciousness and quantum manifestation. And the idea first came to me in the beginning of 2024, and it just wasn't working. Like, things kept getting in the way. And I finally just said, you know what? The timing isn't right. And then this year, it was like, I just knew exactly what to do. And I felt like now is the time. Now is when people are going to experience a huge expansion in consciousness. People are becoming more aware of everything, their life, how they can create their reality, how things that we used to think were crazy are now being proven with technology. Every day there's technology with quantum computers that are basically proving manifestation and these quantum principles that science kind of laughed at for decades. It's all now being proven. So we're on the verge of just the most incredible time ever.
I am every day blown away by ChatGPT.
Oh my gosh,
So I
yeah.
cannot imagine seeing computers and technology that can prove manifestation is real. That
Hmm.
just blows my mind. It's
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
ChatGPT is like my best friend.
Same with me. I see both sides of it. Like I see the terrifying side of AI, but then, I was thinking about it and I'm like, if we all just continue talking about how AI is so terrifying, it's going to be terrifying. Like we are, collectively manifesting this. And I looked at it the same way I looked at subliminals. When I first learned about subliminals, I was like, this is super shady. I don't like it. It's bad. It's wrong. But there was a good side to it, right? You can use it in a good way and you can use it in a bad way. Same with AI. And so I started playing around with AI kind of in the evening when I'm just like bored and, a question will pop up. It is insane the
Yeah.
answers that
Yeah.
it's giving me. I'm
Yep.
like, are you real? Do you have like consciousness now? Because it's just like I'll get the most profound responses that will completely change my perspective on reality. And I notice it keeps improving and getting better
Right.
very, very fast. So where we're
Right.
going to be a year from now is I can't even fathom because it's happening so quickly.
Yep, I've seen multiple people help, or have ChatGPT, like, script out their dream life
Mhm.
and affirmations for them and ways to help them manifest. It's crazy, it's wild to me.
I know. I actually created a whole guide on
I think I
prompts
have
that
that.
you do. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I get people that are like, I'm in tears because it just gave me like my dream life and it's so much better than I could have visualized. And I'm like, man, this is crazy. It's like really, you know, so personalized to every individual that uses it. And I just found if you know how to prompt it, it's gonna give you really good answers. If you get beyond just the basic prompts and you push a little bit deeper, it can transform your life. I use it for everything. I was like, write me a homeschool curriculum for my kindergartner who loves science and da 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 da. It wrote out everything. It even put it a schedule of like what I should do each day. Here's links. Here, print these out. I mean, the whole thing. And it happened in seconds. It gives me this whole incredible
It's
curriculum.
impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive. It takes a lotta workload off of your shoulders for sure.
Yeah, I use it
Oh,
for everything now.
good. So I have your app, I love your app, and I would like to eventually create my own app, and I started my podcast, I'm doing YouTube, doing Instagram, and I was really inspired. I took your digital CEO course,
Mhm.
and so I wanted you to kinda talk about that, maybe what encouraged you to create it.
Yeah. So, I had the podcast and I put out the app, Manifest It Now. It has subliminals, manifestation tools, all that kind of stuff. And I noticed, people that are going through and using these tools, there comes a point that I found that just about everybody goes through where they have this breakthrough and they realize that what they really want, what they thought they want was money usually. I want more money. I want a better relationship, so on and so forth. But at the core of it, what they really want is more freedom. They want freedom. They want freedom to be able to enjoy life now, to spend their time doing what they love. They want to find more purpose and fulfillment in life. And I found that's like universal among everyone. I mean, any client I've worked with, that is the core that we get to. So we would get to that point and then they'd be like, so now what? How do I find my passion? How do I turn it into something where I can leave this soul sucking job that is making me miserable, which I relate to because I was in that position where I was in a job that made me miserable to the point of having panic attacks. So that's when I thought, you know what? If people are asking me for it, I'm just gonna show them what I'm doing. That's all I can do is just show them how I figured it out and took the thing that I love, which is the law of attraction, and turned it into a business that gave me freedom. I mean, complete freedom. I work maybe 3 hours a week, if that, and I make more than I did in the corporate world. And so I kind of divided it into different aspects. So you have the podcast, which I tell everyone it's like free marketing. It doesn't cost hardly anything to create a podcast, and you have the best shot at growing an audience that really truly wants to hear from you. So when you think about it, like social media is it's very saturated, and you're lucky if you can get someone to give you 5 seconds of their time. YouTube, you're lucky if you can get someone to tune in for 5 minutes. Podcasts, people will binge it and tune in for 1, 2, 3 hours in one sitting. And it's just different. You feel so much more connected to someone who has a podcast. So what I found with the podcast was, it was like this free marketing tool, marketing funnel where people were just finding me, listening to me, and then reaching out and saying, where can I find your stuff? I want to you sign up for your courses and your app and everything else. So I always tell people, like, start with that. That's, in my opinion, that's the best way to build an audience and to start sharing what's on your heart, what's your passion, what lights you up inside. Just start putting it out there. And then from there, it's like, how do you differentiate yourself in a world where everyone wants to be an entrepreneur? Everyone's trying to build a social media following. And what I found was there's a huge need. The market is demanding apps. People think about when you go on your phone, what are you doing on your phone? You're in an app, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, a store, like you're doing everything in apps. 85% of time that the average person spends on their phone is inside of an app. So this is what the market's demanding. And all the big companies have apps, but how many solo entrepreneurs have apps? Hardly anyone. So if you want to stand out and you want to build credibility, that's the way to do it. And it lands differently too. If I reach out to someone and want to connect with them, network with them, collaborate with them, and I let them know I have an app, it's like, oh, you have an app. That's so interesting, right? It's so different than, oh, I have a social media account. So I really think it's a great way to give your audience that entry level offer. You can put anything in there that you're doing. You could put your free stuff, you can create mini courses, and it's in a format that they're looking for. It's different than what anyone else is offering. And it's recurring revenue. So it's just like the perfect model for financial freedom. You create it once, and yeah, you're going to update it and fine tune it and things like that, but then it just becomes this ATM machine every month that you're getting all of this recurring income, and it only grows. So I'm a big proponent of that. I feel like just about any topic, passion, purpose can be turned into an app. So that's kind of what I help people do. That, create a podcast, create your digital products, and that's going to give you the freedom that you're ultimately looking for so you can just enjoy life now and not wait till retirement.
Yeah, I'm currently working on creating more digital products now. I have one ebook out. I think I might go back and revamp it. It is free for everybody to download. I'll list it down below. But I really want to put out more content, more in-depth stuff, some courses, because my passion is really helping women redesign their lives. And I feel like manifestation plays a huge role in that. I just feel like they really link together. And so I feel like you are someone that redesigned your life, completely transformed your life.
Yeah.
And I love that. And I think that you give hope and inspiration to other women out there that they can do the same. And I love that you share your methods and your wisdom so that other women can actually put those practices into place. I
Yeah.
think that's awesome.
Yeah. I know that everyone is creating their reality. So you're already creating your reality. You've created your reality up until this point. but most of it has been created on autopilot with that subconscious running the show. And it's going off of default, which is the external world influencing you. So a lot of the things you've manifested in your life probably weren't even your goals. They were goals that someone else had for you, whether it was your teachers told you this growing up, or your parents, or your boss, or your spouse, whatever. But when you can start to go within and look at, what do I want to create? What was I put here to do? What's on my heart? And you start to get more clarity and start to learn how to tune in to your intuition and that connection. It's amazing how fast your life will shift. And you don't have to know how. Like, you don't have to know, okay, here's step one, I'm going to do this. And then here's step two. And then you don't have to know any of that. All you have to get clear on is the vision you want for your life. And the more you start tuning into that and going within and getting away from like letting everything externally basically manipulate you, your life will change in miraculous ways that you can't even fathom. There's no predicting it.
Yeah, I feel like I am really stuck in that. Growing up, my dad worked for the federal government. He was at work, traveling for work every day. He was very into, save every penny. Money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work hard and scrimp and save. My mom was the same way. She stayed at home, but it was always coupons and consignment stores. And I feel like that is really ingrained in me. So as an adult now, I went to college like they wanted me to. I got a good career like they wanted me to. I worked for the government like they wanted me to in an office. And I am trying to do things for me and find my purpose and follow my own path. But you're right, people really get stuck in that. And it is all external and based on what other people have told them and conditioned them to believe.
Okay, here's an experiment that you can do right now, right after this podcast,
Okay.
do it this week. Ask the universe, like literally say out loud. I'm telling you, when you say it out loud, it happens really fast for me. It's wild.
Okay.
Sometimes I feel like a crazy person, but I'll just talk out
Okay.
loud to the universe and say, I am ready for abundance and freedom. Give me a sign. Show me a sign. And so, for example, my sign is like a white feather. Sometimes I'll say, show me a sign in the form of abundance, but ask for a sign. I guarantee you will start seeing signs left and right. And when this starts happening, it's like you start to realize, okay, there's something going on here. And okay, I asked for this sign. Well, now I'm going to ask you to show me the way. Give me that first breadcrumb of what I should do, how I should approach this. And I'm telling you, it's amazing what'll happen. When I was in the corporate world, I knew I should quit. I was having panic attacks. I was more miserable than I've ever been in my life. And I knew I needed to quit. But walking away from a six-figure salary and a company car and benefits, and everyone thought, like, oh, you have the best job in the world. Why would you want to leave? I knew I was never going to do it. I just knew it. And I remember I was so fed up one day. My boss was like just yelling at me, and I was in my car, and I'm like, I give up. I'm never going to leave. I need you, universe, to figure it out. Find the path out for me. I don't care how, I need a crystal clear answer of what I should do next. I ended up getting pregnant after 10 years of infertility. And the moment I found out, the moment I looked at the test, I was like, I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to go on maternity leave and I'm never coming back. This is my exit. And like, you can't tell me that's just like, oh, like after 10 years, you finally got, I mean, and stuff like that just consistently happens when I have these conversations and I'm like, I need guidance, like, show me the way. You will always get an answer. Just try. So just try it. Like everyone that's listening, try it this week. Just humor me, whatever, have fun with it. And you'll probably be amazed at what comes through.
Yeah, so actually, I have in the past, probably beginning of last summer, I did ask for a sign. I had it in my mind what I wanted my sign to be. I started seeing it everywhere. And I actually mentioned this to someone the other day. The past few months, I have not seen my sign. And I was wondering, like, am I doing something wrong? Have I, stopped following the path that I was supposed to follow? And they said, maybe it's more just like, we've got you on the right track. Like, keep going. We don't need to show you all the time, constantly your sign. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so you will start noticing that, you see it all the time, and then if you don't see it, it's like, "Oh my gosh, what's going on? What do I need to do?" So I would just keep asking different questions, literally just have a conversation of, okay, I feel like I'm on the right path. Am I missing something? Give me a little breadcrumb. Let me know, what action should I take this week that maybe I'm not doing. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the sign. Like for me, the sign isn't always a white feather. Sometimes it's like I'll get an email, or all of a sudden I'll just get so inspired, like I should reach out to so and so and invite them on the podcast or something like that. And I know now to act on that. That's like the universe giving me a sign. So it could be that you are getting a sign, but you're so focused on like that one specific sign, maybe you're not seeing another sign that's coming through repeatedly. But just ask again. Just hey, I'm feeling this is what I do whenever the doubt starts to creep in. I'm starting to second guess myself. I'm feeling doubtful. Send me a sign that I know for sure I'm on the right track. And I'll get all kinds of signs that'll come through.
Yeah, I should definitely do that. I mean, I feel like I'm on the right track. I feel like things are, getting better and growing every day, but you're right. When I think about leaving my current job, it's a six-figure job with benefits, great insurance. That is totally scary. So having that extra nudge from the universe, like, we've got you, helping you build that faith is really important. And I know it would encourage me to take that step and actually leave.
And something I'll add to that, because I see this a lot, I saw it with myself. I knew I wanted to leave and start my own business, but, I couldn't bring myself to do it. That's when I got that manager that made my life a living hell. And
Yeah.
at the time, I was like, why is this happening to me? Why? Like, why is she picking on me? And now looking back, I am so grateful for her, because had she not, I know myself, I would still be in that job, just pushing through, pushing through. And I feel like the universe like sent her to me knowing, if you're not going to leave on your own, I'm going to give you that push and make things so uncomfortable that you have to leave. And so sometimes I'll see this with people where they're like, oh my gosh, I just lost my job, or they're doing layoffs or whatever. And yes, it's horrible, it's scary, but on the other side of that thing is where you're supposed to be. It's like the universe is throwing this wrench in the way because you're not meant to be on this path. And it has to direct you because it's giving you signs and you're not listening to the signs. So it's going to make things so uncomfortable to motivate you to get on the right path. That's what I firmly believe. And it's happened multiple times in my life. And always on the other side is something so much better.
Right. I totally agree. I completely agree that things happen how they're supposed to, when they're supposed to, and that if you have faith in the universe, it'll give you those intuitive pushes. Like you said, put a huge roadblock in the way, or it'll help you move on through very smoothly. Either way, it's going to try to help you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's wild. It blows my mind, some of this stuff.
Oh, I know. A big thing for me over the last, really like all of 2024 too, is thinking, up until that point, I thought, well, I have an abundance mindset and I built my business and things are great, And I don't know, I got to this point where I started feeling really burnout again. And I knew I needed to switch things up. But if I took a break from coaching and masterminds, like that was such a big portion of my income. And I just kept getting all the signs of like, don't make the same mistake again and go down the burnout route. Like, give yourself the rest you need. It was just came through crystal clear. And so I did. And in that, there were so many times where I would question things because it's like, oh my gosh, I'm not bringing in as much income because I'm not doing half the things I did, last year. And every single time in the 11th hour, income would come rolling in when I would least expect it to where I always had more than enough. And it was like, okay, so abundance isn't having just a ton of money in my bank account. Abundance is getting down to where you have nothing, but still believing it's coming in. And and it does. And like that's truly understanding that the universe always has your back if you just keep, believing. So that was a big lesson for me that like I don't have to do anything I don't want to do. I don't have to follow this certain path that all the marketing experts say. I can truly focus on what lights me up, which is my podcast. And that's what I focused on. And towards the end of the year, I ended up getting a podcast deal. So it's like, taking that faith. Like faith is like not believing in something just to believe. It's believing in something even when things seem impossible and it doesn't look like it's going to manifest and believing anyways. And that was my big lesson in 2024. So I'll just put that out there as well that, you know, on the other side, like when it looks like everything isn't going to work out, if you just hold on the other side of that is your breakthrough.
Yeah. So definitely faith, even when you're tested,
Mhm.
even when you feel like giving up, if you continue to hold on to that faith. I get it. So congratulations on your podcast deal.
Thank
That is
you.
awesome. That is so cool. So what are all your programs like? Lay out everything that you offer for me now. I know you have the app, the podcast, you have your book.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah. So the Law of Attraction Tribe podcast is obviously free. I also have a lot of free resources. So I have like the Chat GPT prompts, which seriously, anyone that's listening, it is free. Just try it. It'll blow your mind. You can get all that stuff. You can just go to lawofattractiontribe.com. You'll see all my free resources. My app is called Manifest It Now. It's also on my website, or you can just go in the App Store and search Manifest It Now. That's where I have my subliminal library. There's over 200 manifestation tools that you can, try, use, make it a daily practice if you want to make manifesting part of your morning routine. And then I also offer courses. So I have manifestation courses, I have digital CEO where I walk you through, finding your purpose, turning it into a product and setting it up on a system to where it's passive income so you can have a life of financial freedom and not trading your time for dollars. So pretty much all of that you can just go to lawofattractiontribe.com and check it out and check out the free stuff. And people can reach out to me if they have any questions on Instagram. Just send me a message at Law of Attraction Tribe and I check all my messages. So that's the best way to get a hold of me.
Yeah, and I'm going to link all your contact information down below. Just for anybody who's listening, I do have Stephanie's app. It is full of stuff, like so much stuff. So many different modules, like if you want help manifesting relationships, parenting, finding your dream career, all sorts of stuff, money, everything. There's a lot of subliminals, a lot of meditations, all kinds of stuff. And then I've also done her digital CEO course, which taught me a ton. And 2025 is going to be my app year. I
Yes.
know. Like I'm gonna get there. I've also done some other classes with you. I don't know. They're all on the
There's a
portal.
lot.
Yeah.
Just go to
I
the website and have a look around, and the right thing will present itself.
for sure, for sure. All right. Well, do you have any last pearls of wisdom, Stephanie, that you'd like to share with everybody?
I would just say, think about this week. Like, I want to give some people something tangible, and actionable. So think about if you had a genie ask you, like, what do you want your life to look like? And anything's possible. There's no limitations. You have all the money you could want. Like, your daily life, what do you want the day to day to be like? Get clear on that and then ask the universe, say, give me a sign, put me in the right direction. Let me know what the first step is I should take Do that this week, and that's half the battle. Like, you'll be on that path towards manifesting a life you don't need a vacation from.
So, one quick question. Do you find it more effective to speak out loud to the universe, or do you like to journal more?
I do both. I mean, I journal pretty much every day. I think for me, and maybe this is just because I have this belief, but for me, when I say it out loud, when I'm asking for a sign, that's when it just like feels like it happens so quick. So I'll do that when I'm in the car by myself. I'll be like, okay, universe, so this is what's going on. Give me a sign. And for whatever reason, when I say it out loud, I feel like it works better than writing it out. But I do journal daily as well. So, there's no right or wrong. Just do whatever feels good to you.
Yeah, but follow your heart.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
heart for real. Follow that intuition that the universe is giving you.
Yep. Yeah, it'll
Whatever.
never lead you astray.
Right. If you have that gut feeling and it's telling you no, please listen.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Stephanie. I really appreciate you coming on today. I will link all of your contact information down below. I have had an awesome time and I hope to talk to you again soon.
I know, me too. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.